Welcome to our show, Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be here with a phenomenal artist, musician, extraordinary producer, TikTok influencer. He's even designed an app. His name is Max Lewis. It's really a wonderful opportunity to get to meet you in person, young man.
It's good to meet you as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love your energy. I love your style. I love your look.
Thanks.
And without trying to sound funny, talk to us about sort of how that all came to be. How did you get interested and passionate about music?
Oh man. So my mom is a musician and a songwriter. And I just grew up, I grew up as the only child surrounded with a lot of instruments in the house.
Sure.
And so I just kind of picked them up and started vibing. And I don't know, I can't remember ever like existing or being alive without singing or humming or banging on stuff with pencils or whatever. I was just always making sound, and it's always been a part of me. And sometimes my friends are like, whoa, what is that melody? And I'm like, what melody? And I don't even realize that I'm like humming or like, quietly singing in public. So
absolutely,
this has always been a part of me.
Yeah, you come across as very modest, and it's a tremendous leap to go from just playing some instruments or makeshift instruments to actually being able to produce music. What was that journey like, and how did you really get into producing?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are producers in their own right and don't even call themselves that or realize that. So for me, it was just a matter of learning how to use like Pro Tools and all that. Like I think I was always producing in my head. Like I always heard full songs. Like sometimes I dream songs and I'll wake up and I'll run to my phone and turn on the voice recording and like try to hum it and memorize it as best I can before and then I'll go back to sleep, and then like I'll wake up later in the day and replay and be like, oh yeah, that's what I meant. And then I'll go to the computer and do it. But I remember in Hawaii, the first time I went to like a real studio, and I watched this amazing man named Pierre, who's produced a bunch of songs, for a lot of Hawaiian artists and others. I just watched him like working Pro Tools on the computer while I was in this session. And I was like kind of trying out for like a group or something. I don't really remember, but I just remember like seeing his computer and just like watching and just very quickly understanding exactly what was happening. Just Pro Tools made sense to me somehow. And so the next time I went there, I was like, hey, could I try that? And I started like kind of producing, and I saw the grid. Like I've been a drummer my whole life, so I kind of like understood the time grid and how things worked. And I, read music, so I could see, oh, if you just turn your head this way, then it's a piano and MIDI, and I understood it all. And I just started playing, and he's like, what the hell? And he's like, keep going. And then I ended up making a whole song. So Pro Tools and then Logic and then Ableton, like, I don't know, DAWs just kind of came naturally. And now I feel like I see them in my dreams. Like I go to sleep and I'm like producing a song. Sure. So yeah.
Talk to us about some of your influences, some of the musical geniuses or artists that you look up to.
Oh man. Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Who I'm absolutely blessed to have a song with. He's like a musical mentor, if you will. Just an incredible man. If you watch his speech at Harvard on music and Buddhism, it's like an incredibly inspiring, insightful speech. But he's probably the biggest one. I love hip hop. I love Kanye. I love Drake. I love a lot of Playboi Carti is. It's really funny because like if you listen to my music, people listen to my music and they say, "Oh, you're like R&B, pop, some like folk kind of alternative stuff, some indie stuff." But I also do a lot of hip hop stuff. I also rap, which not everybody sees that side because I don't post about it too much. But I love like a lot of like really underground like rap stuff too. That no one would probably know if I were to say it, but, and then everything from jazz to like even like old Bollywood music and traditional Hawaiian like music and a bunch of different stuff. I have a pretty wide, variety of tastes. I just love music. Like, I just love music.
Since you mentioned Hawaii, talk to us about sort of spending time there and what you absorb from the culture, because it seems like everywhere you look, it's basically nature music.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I'm from. So Hawaii is, man, I grew up not appreciating it and not realizing what I had, until I moved here. I mean, I still kind of live there, but when I moved here, I really understood, oh, Hawaii is like fucking treasure.
Right.
Like the air quality, the water, the nature, the people, just the culture. It's like, and I felt trapped when I was there, when I was living there. I was like, oh, it's so small. There's no industry. People don't like care about my type of music here. And then I left and I'm like, oh my God, the beach here is like, the water's nasty, it's cold, it's like brown, there's like stuff in it.
Not even green, right? The beaches are scary to walk on.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's my home. I love it.
Absolutely. And on that note, your activism, humanitarian side, talk to us about that inspiration that really just spoke to your heart to give back and how you pulled together a project in so few days.
Yeah. So, I had started a kind of like a organization of my influencer friends who we wanted to do something other than just using our platforms to promote products and ourselves and make money. It was a cool run that we had from around 2019 to 2022. There was like a lot of brand deals and stuff like that. But for me, at least, it got kind of exhausting and kind of like meaningless at some point. And it just felt like we're just doing this all for ourselves and for vanity, and there's no real purpose to it.
Right.
And I thought there's got to be something bigger that we can use our platform for. Reaching millions and millions of people, like, why not use it to promote something that actually matters, you know? So I started a nonprofit and started organizing these trips to bring creators on, journeys to other countries, third world countries like the Dominican Republic, where there's places that people live in literal tin, cans essentially, and don't have running water. And I just wanted to expose these, TikTok influencers to that reality. Because I feel like a lot of depression, runs really rampant in the social media world.
Sure.
And a lot of that is because people are so focused on themselves and what other people think of them that they don't realize like how fortunate they are, and they don't realize like what's actually out there. And so we did a trip, and it was amazing, and it was really life-changing, eye-opening for everybody who came. And so I was trying to turn that into a bigger thing. I was trying to turn that into like a docu-series, and I had some like people and we were talking to, and we were planning on doing this huge thing. And the next one was going to be in Hawaii, and it was going to be about ocean plastic and the huge Pacific garbage patch that's off the coast of Hawaii. There's a beach in the Big Island where there's like a lot of trash that nobody really knows about. Like nobody even knows this beach. Like no one talks about that beach. They try to hide it from the tourists, but it's like really gross. And we were gonna go there and show it and like do a cleanup and like do a whole awareness campaign about it. And we had it all planned out. And then a week before, the fire happened in Maui. And so, it would have been very inappropriate to like bring a bunch of influencers to Hawaii during that time and like so we canceled it. And I was there. So I was 20-minute flight to Maui. So I flew over and I just started volunteering with the different hubs and just literally just carrying toilet paper and diapers and water and stuff, driving it in a rental car from one hub to a different location where people didn't have access to those things, and just trying to help out best as I could. And I learned a lot being there during those first few days, how people in power were treating the people who needed help, and not only not helping, but making things way, way worse. And I was just watching this go down, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, nobody is getting what they're supposed to. Like, we're supposed to be a country that takes care of its own people.
At least.
And it's not happening. And so I was like, what can I do? How can I use my platform to like help? So I started making videos and just sharing on my social media, like, this is what's happening. Like, we need to do something, And people were like, what do we do? And I was like, I don't know. A friend of mine runs like a crowdfunding organization. And so we partnered up, and then I filmed some interviews of some different families and what they were going through. And we started crowdfunding and just raising money. And then my social media friends started like posting about it too and reposting. We were able to raise a good amount of money. Then we did a project with art and kids. So the kids that had lost their homes were not really opening up about it. They were just kind of like shut down. Their parents were like very, very, crying and just like sobbing and just retelling their stories and things that they saw. But the kids weren't even like really talking about it at all. And I know for me growing up, when I would go through anything difficult, I also didn't want to talk about it,
Right.
but I would write about it in music, or I would go, pick up a drum and start like banging really hard or playing my guitar. And that was my form of like expressing it. So I got a bunch of art supplies and brought it to the kids, and they just started painting like right away.
Right.
And some of them started crying. They weren't even saying anything. They were just painting and crying.
Right.
And it was like, oh my God, this is what it is. They're turning what they had been through and what they had seen and what they experienced into art, and to me, like, that's what I live for, is transforming, shit into art.
Right. Sure.
And so it was an amazing, project. And then I was able to put that onto clothes.
Right.
And then, some awesome models and influencer friends of mine like really stepped up and went to New York, and we did a whole fashion week thing to raise
Right.
more money and raise more awareness. And now it was like, okay, these kids who just went through the worst thing ever, their art is now being featured in New York Fashion Week, being
Right.
seen by like all these people. So it's a really cool project.
No, absolutely. Your passion comes across when you talk, and obviously how much you care. Tell us, because I think you're really hinting at it well, the way that music for you has really been sort of instrumental in expressing your feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm not very good at talking or like expressing myself, communicating with people with how I really feel. Like it's hard to explain. Sometimes I get overwhelmed with like what I'm trying to express.
Sure.
But when it comes to music, it's easy.
Right.
It just flows. Like everything I want to say, like I can just say it, Like if I'm in love with a girl and I don't know how to express it,
Right.
I just go to the computer, I get my guitar, I get the keyboards, and it just, everything I want to say comes out in the exact way I want to. So I almost feel like music is like my first language and English is my second.
Sure. Early before we got going today, I had a chance to see some of your videos again. A few of them I had seen. Your creativity and your passion again also comes across. Talk to us about the way you weave so many different styles of music, instruments, and the fact that you play sort of into your persona.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Humanity, art is beautiful. And I'm inspired by a lot of things. I always like to do what is not expected musically. Like I feel like I like to rap over like really hard lyrics over like a really soft beat, or like sing really nice over like a really hard sounding beat, or like just like trippy stuff. So I don't know, when I'm producing, I tend to like bring in elements that you wouldn't expect, or like feature or highlight a different part of my culture that you wouldn't necessarily hear on a record like that.
Sure. Music also has these ups and downs, as so many careers does. Maybe there's a story or even a pearl that you can share with people that may be feeling, I can't fully get my music out, or I wanted to work with this artist and things didn't happen the way that I thought they should.
Yeah. Yeah, without going into too much detail, I'm going through some stuff myself right now. And I'll say I love music, and the part about the music industry that I don't like is exactly that just the fact that it's an industry, and that there's like, because there's people in it that have nothing to do with music,
Right.
that try to corporatize and monetize it, and that think they know about the music part and really should just stay in their lane, and try to hijack everything and just derail everything. And so anyway, yeah, there's been a lot of situations where to go back to your question, to actually answer your question, I would say to anybody out there who feels frustrated or feels silenced or limited or whatever it is, we have infinite potential within us, each one of us. Even if you lose everything, even if you have a catalog of 1,000 songs and you lose it all, someone else owns it, and now you feel like you've lost everything that you've worked for your entire life. Not saying that's happening to me right now.
Right.
Not saying it's not. But you can just make 1,000 more. Because it'll never end. There's an infinite amount within us. At least that's how I feel about myself. Like, I'm not going to let anybody stop me. So, and also with, social media and all the platforms that we have nowadays, like there's no reason why anyone shouldn't be just putting stuff out,
Right.
like independently, like label or not. Labels can be great and they can also not be, but it doesn't really matter. Like there's infinite opportunity to promote and release your own stuff without anybody else. So that's the first thing I would say is like, just don't give up. Just keep going.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
A corollary to that, I saw in one of your posts that really touched me. You talked about the positivity and the importance of dreaming, and also having people behind you always supporting, and how important it is for other people to support your dreams, and to give that positive word of, I really believe in you. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I know a lot of times I'll meet people who, come into the studio. So I write for a lot of people. I write and produce for a lot of people. And, oftentimes it's like influencers who want to migrate into music, or people who are really popular in one part of social media, but that like they don't want to be, and they just accidentally became famous in that way, and they like hate it. And they really want to move into what they really want to do, which is music.
Yeah.
That's like such a common story. And I work with a lot of people like that for some reason. And, most of the time they're really not confident in themselves, like in music, and it's like they can't show that on camera, or they feel like they can't. I mean, they could, but they feel like they can't, because they have this like persona, and this like everybody like looking perfect thing that's going on. And so me kind of like believing in them and showing them, hey, like you can sound good, like you can do this, I can help you like blossom into like who you really want to be.
Right.
It really, I see the impact that it has on people's lives who everyone else thinks like they have everything, but they're like sitting crying in a chair, like, I'll never be what I want to be. And to everyone else, they're already like their dream person, So I think the power of just like encouraging people and believing in anyone is tremendously huge.
Absolutely. Our show's called Music and Medicine. When you hear those words, what do they mean to you? How do they speak to you?
Yeah. To me, it's funny because like, I don't ever go to the doctor.
Right. Sure. I understand. You're young enough to not go.
Yeah, but also like, I'm really big into, like food being medicine.
Yes.
And, so I'm plant-based, like I'm vegan, been vegan for a long time, and I don't eat gluten. I don't eat processed sugar. I eat 100% all organic. I don't drink out of plastic bottles. I don't use anything with PFAs or parabens, or like, I'm like super,
seriously.
Yeah. I cook like pretty much all my own meals unless I'm eating out, but if I'm eating out, I'm eating it somewhere like really good, and I cook for a lot of my friends, and like, it's a passion of mine. Like I love health. I love, let thy food be thy medicine is like the whole thing, right? So, music is the other side of it, because frequency, science has been showing recently that if you zoom into, I know I'm not saying this right, but if you zoom in like to an atom and you go even smaller, the only thing there is vibrations.
Yes.
Which means everything that exists in all of us are just made up of vibrations. And that's what music is. And that's why I love Buddhism and chanting, because it's about that frequency and aligning your frequency with your most high frequency. And, music is medicine.
Sure.
So
absolutely. Yeah. So something else that you share with Herbie Hancock, because he's also a Buddhist. What's your IG? What are your socials? Where can we find you?
Max Lewis, MAXLOUIS on Instagram, and TikTok. I changed it. I think it's the same. No, it is. It's MAXLOUIS, but there's a V at the end, I'm pretty sure. I just changed it recently. But yeah, somebody took, like, some other people have been trying to make accounts that look like mine and like whatever. So I've been changing.
What happens to you celebrities in the whole verification process? People start saying, wow, I want to take their name. Sure. But no, definitely a pleasure. Really appreciate your sincerity, your honesty, your purity, and your true desire to stay creative and enjoy that process, and also give that to others. That is something that's so rare, and it seems to come from such a genuine place that I think it's something we appreciate about you.
Thank you.
But we wish you the best of luck. We want to continue to hear more great things about you, and also to continue to encourage you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
Sure. Likewise.
If I can say one more thing, I guess, I feel like right now in the world, and it's probably always been this way, but it feels to me like there's a huge just divide and war between so many different people about so many topics constantly. It's just like everybody's in like fight or flight mode, at least in the comment section, all over everything.
Sure, yes.
And it's like, I don't know, man, like, that's not fun.
Right.
Like, life's not fun when you're just pissed off all the time.
Right.
I don't understand why everyone is so obsessed with being pissed off all the time.
Right.
And like, I just want to make life fun.
Right,
you know?
sure, and you're not alone.
And
that's
yeah.
on the plane is saying the same exact thing.
Really?
To me, almost verbatim. So
yeah. And to me, music is that. Like,
yes.
when like, that's how I turn a shitty situation or a feeling into something fun. And I think like we all have much more in common than we have differences. And like, that's my hope, is that through music I'll be able to kind of like bring back people to enjoying life and having fun and appreciating each other and appreciating themselves and like just fucking loving life, because life is amazing.
Sure. Well, it comes across when I look at your videos. Sometimes I'm laughing, but at the same time, I'm listening to the songs, I'm getting the music and the melody, and that comes across this happiness, which I think sometimes, as you're stating, can be lacking, or people can forget to look for it. Yeah. So we definitely appreciate you continuing to bring that out. Don't ever give it out, no matter what.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wait, can I ask you
sure.
a question?
Yeah,
so
of
like,
course.
okay, so you're a doctor. Like,
yes.
what kind of?
Sure. So I do sports medicine type of work. I work with a lot of people who have injuries, who are a little bit older, and so they're down many times. And music is the first thing, which is how this whole project began, that I started talking with them about. Everybody listens to some type of music. So I always try to encourage them to find that music that helps lift them up, even if they're in traffic, even if they're in pain, even if they're going to see the doctor. Things of that nature they may not look for, because I really tell them that you have the power to sort of manipulate music, not in a negative way, but to really help elevate your mood. Maybe it needs to be more intense because you want to work out, or maybe it should be more solemn because you're chanting. Maybe it should be more reverential because I'm in traffic, and if I really get too intense, I might, really get upset, and I need to calm my blood pressure. But really using it as a way to help not only enjoy life, but also realize, hey, I can control my blood pressure, I can calm down, I can pump myself up, I can get ready to really, have a great time because I'm doing such and such, or I can continue to enjoy myself after the concert, after the play, after a test, after a trying experience, So yeah, that's how it all fits together.
Wow. So you're a doctor who utilizes music in your practice.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
That's fucking incredible.
Right. Well, many of the people.
That's sick.
Well, a lot of the people are, as you were talking about, and we didn't want to get too deep into it, but they're dealing with depression, and or they're in pain, I can't walk as well, or they lost a job, lost a career. I talked to a guy today who was only 29, and he lost a job as $90 an hour. For a 29-year-old, that's not bad money, because he's got a back problem, and so he wasn't walking, as well as he could. And so the boss picked up on it and said, "You got an injury?" So everybody I see has had some type of injury, but maybe mental. So music's definitely, for those that are going through pain on an emotional level, so important to tap into. People only listen to certain things, and I'm sure maybe you even had it where somebody came up to you and said, "You helped save my life," or "I was really thinking bad thoughts," and I listened to your music and I saw your happiness and the great looking people in your video, or how much fun you guys were having at the store when you went and talked to that girl and told her to listen to your music, and I was just like, I forgot about my problems. Your music took me away long enough that after a while I was like, I can think a little bit better about life just because I heard your music.
Yeah, man. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's I have tremendous respect for that. That's really cool.
We're trying. So.
Really, really cool.
I think it can definitely save lives and make people not only feel better, but feel better about themselves, which is part of the problem. So yeah.
Dude,
thanks.
Thank you.
Sure. I love it.